everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with motion sickness while on a cruise ship. But before we get into all that, I must ask, if you like this video, if you find it at all helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. Alright, so let's get to it. So one of the first things that you want to consider when dealing with motion sickness that you might want to consider is the type of ship that you're going on. Normally, the older, smaller ships don't have the more modern stabilizers and aren't really as stable due to their smaller size. So if you're prone to motion sickness, you might want to consider booking a larger ship. That said, the second thing you want to keep in mind is the cabin location. Now, in the cruise industry, we kind of have a little bit of a saying where it's kind of like the business in the front, party in the back. All of the food pretty much is going to be towards the back of the ship because there's not going to be as much movement as there is towards the front of the ship. That's not to say there's not going to be any movement in the back, but there's less chance of that happening. However, if you want absolutely no chance of any sort of movement or very minimal chance, your best bet is to get a cabin that's actually midship. Your second best option would be to get a cabin that's on a lower deck because that will also offer less motion. Now, if you remember a while back, we did an episode on the different types of cabins and the advantages and disadvantages of each, and I'll link that in the video description below. But this is one advantage that an interior cabin has over exterior cabins or balcony cabins. Interior cabins, you won't be able to see the waves, which means you're probably less likely to focus on whether or not you're sick and how you're feeling and all that. However, if you find yourself in a balcony cabin or in an outside cabin at all, or an ocean view even, you want to focus on the horizon because it gives you a reference point and you'll be able to anticipate any sort of movement. Now, the next thing you want to consider doing before you even get on the ship is medications. You want to be able to talk with your doctor about any medications that might help. There are some over-the-counter medications that will be available in limited supplies when you get on the ship, so you want to make sure that you definitely take those with you. And there are non-medicinal options. However, there's been no evidence to suggest that some of them actually work or work well, so that would be kind of a trial and error thing that you could try. And the final thing is your itinerary. Certain itineraries will be rougher at certain times of the year due to the weather. For example, cruising during the hurricane season often lends itself to rougher seas, even when the captain sails around the storm, just because of the size of the storm. So if you're prone to motion sickness and you're going to the Caribbean, mid-September and October tends to be peak season. Another area that you want to avoid is the tips of South America and Africa, although I personally have never been to either one of those. Those areas historically tend to be rougher than some of the other areas that you could also cruise to. So that might be something that you want to consider as well. Seasoned cruisers, do you have any tips that I might have missed? That's all the tips I have for now. So seasoned cruisers, if you know of any tips that I might have missed, feel free to comment below. And again, if you like this video, if you find it at all helpful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And I'll see you soon. Bon voyage!